Right now, very pleased to have with us the Sheriff of Los Animas County, Colorado, Sheriff James Casillas. Sheriff, thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
All right, I understand that the County Sheriffs of Colorado recently released a position paper, and as I understand it, all of the county sheriffs across the state of Colorado have signed on to this position paper.
Well, they have all agreed in content of the paper that was written up on behalf of County Sheriffs of Colorado, and there are a few little things that we have to add to it or into it, but I think it would be based on individuals, and they had certain other information they had wanted in the paper. We couldn't touch everything that deals with guns, and you know, the main focus was that yes, we do believe in the Constitution. That's what we take an oath to enforce, but we also then are privileged with the basis of giving people the rights that they have by the Constitution that has been given to them as citizens of the United States.
So I understand it that one of the things that this position paper says is that enforcing the existing laws that are on the books, better enforcement of existing laws, would do more to protect the public than passing new gun control measures.
We believe that's a true fact, and my emphasis on that is that, you know, guns don't kill people, people kill people, and the thing is, though, we cannot, there is no way ever are we going to be able to dictate behavior of human beings. And, you know, and that's why we entered on here on mentioning mental health, that these people that are under mental health, we're not able to have records on them, know there, and they possess guns, and when they go buy a gun, you know, because those are confidential information, so it doesn't come up saying this person is being treated for some mental problems that he may be suffering from. And as I mentioned, you know, even the criminals, they don't go to a sporting goods store or a gun trading show to buy weapons. They steal them, break in, you know, and they steal them. And we just feel that increasing more laws isn't going to be the answer. I think stricter enforcing of what we have on the books now is one way to go ahead and address some of the violence that's in our country. I mean, you know, and I don't want to sound so negative, but plea bargains are given so much anymore in courts. You know, so sometimes the penalty isn't fitting the crime.
Listen, we have a segment every day. We actually ran out of time to get to it today, Sheriff, but every day we do a segment. We try to feature an armed citizen story, and we also try to feature a plea bargain that is so egregious. And I got to tell you, I never run out of material. We call it the deal of the day. And when you see guys who are charged with attempted murder and they're able to plea bargain that down to simple assault, when you see people 17 years old on the streets of Chicago who point a loaded gun at a Chicago police officer and walk away with probation, again, regardless of what your opinion is about gun ownership in this country, I think we can all agree that that shouldn't happen. I mean,
that's very true. That's very true. As I mentioned earlier, you know, the penalty does not fit the crime, and there's just so much plea bargaining going on, and there has to be the enforcement based on the type of crime that was committed. I mean, you know, you have drug cartels suing each other. Well, that's the life they chose. But when you kill innocent people, two things happen. One is either he's prosecuted and maybe given a lesser sentence or lesser plea to his offense that he was charged with, or they become cowards and kill themselves, and then there's nobody to prosecute.
Yeah, and you know, to that end, do you think that these plea bargains, let's say the overuse of plea bargains, I think the last statistic I saw is something like 95% of felonies in this country result in plea bargain sentences. Does that not, on some level, actually erode the rule of law itself? I mean, when you know that you commit a crime and that's not the crime that you're going to be sentenced to, if you actually are prosecuted, you know, it seems to me like that has to have some sort of effect on the respect for and the rule of law in general.
It is, and I agree with you on that point, because then they feel there's no consequence. So, hey, what's the big deal?
Absolutely. And so I understand this position paper also comes out and talks about semi-automatic firearms, and I applaud you all for actually doing this and trying to explain what a semi-automatic firearm is, because we're getting a lot of just false information out there. So can you explain what a semi-automatic firearm is?
Well, I mean,
or what these quote unquote assault weapons are, what the misinformation that you're seeing?
well, they are, and the thing is, though, the NRA is very good at giving information out there of the type of weapons out there, or instructors that teach it and all that, and having either a semi-automatic and or machine guns and all this stuff. I mean, it's the power of shooting. It's the amount of ammo that they're able to dispense within a quick speed there. And I know the president wants to ban certain magazines and all this to a certain number of ammunition that's put in them, but I just don't see it in most of the sheriffs that's going to fix the crime rate or the violence in our country. As I mentioned, behavior, mental health, those are the things that affect violence in people. It's not about laws. You have to look at the tragedies that they commit based on what was their demeanor, what was their behavior, what was their thoughts. And like I said, the thing that happens is if they go, the consequence is not there, so it's a big deal. We'll do it, and then if we play it down, we're okay. Or, like I said, they take the coward way out and they shoot themselves, so then there's nobody to prosecute.
Yeah. Sheriff, I saw a study by the FBI. It was, I think it's 2 years old now, and it said in some big cities, as much as 80% of the violent crime, is committed by 20% of the gang population, indicating that there's a small core of career criminals who are committing a disproportionate number of crimes in big cities. I don't know the answer to this question, but in Los Animas County, for instance, do you know who some of the bad apples are? Do you know who some of the bad actors are that you see time and time again, and you make the arrest, but after that, the system that we've been talking about comes into play, and they're soon back out on the streets?
Sometimes my saying is the ink's not even dried and they're already out.
So you know who these individuals are.
Yes.
The community who are plagued by these individuals, they know who these guys are.
They sure do.
But the people in Washington, D.C. don't know who these guys are, and so instead their grand solution is to go after the inanimate objects or to go after the law-abiding gun owners and say, well, we'll deal with the criminals by trying to dry up their supply. It seems to me like I bet you have a lot more guns in Los Animas County, Colorado than you do career criminals.
I would say we do because, this is the western part of the United States. That's what they were founded here.
Yeah.
But the thing is, well, like I said, sometimes there's always a knee-jerk reaction to things that are done, but it doesn't fix the problem. It just makes it worse.
What have you been hearing from the residents of Los Animas County, both before and after this letter has come out?
Before the letter came out, I had I don't know how many calls, plus we've had most of the sheriffs in Colorado have had an increase in people asking for concealed weapons permits. And after the paper came out, there was applause, there was congratulations, and saying, hey, we're glad that's how you people feel, and we're proud that you people are the sheriffs of Colorado and that you're not against our rights either. And we told them, no, we're here for the safety and services to you, but also to the state of Colorado and also the government that has a constitution that we abide by. But we want to make sure that when one law encounters somebody else's civil rights, that we look at it in depth and try to go ahead and slice it up to see exactly what it is and what is entailed from it and what's going to be right or wrong with it. So, like I said, this took a while and like I said, Sheriff John Cook from Weld County, he's the one that put it together with help from all the sheriffs and giving him information. But he did most of it there based on our conference that we had up in Loveland a few weeks back, and he put the paper together, and all the sheriffs agreed to it with a few little problems on some of the stuff that was not mentioned in it. But as you know, that there is nothing, even like policies, procedures, or anything like that, we cannot cover everything in a paper or a policy or procedure that may happen. Mm-hmm. And that's why I said human behavior is something we can't control, and we don't have a crystal ball to see, well, hey, maybe we should have added this or we should have added that. Well, it comes in time, because then, especially if you are aware of Colorado, also with the Amendment 64 and the marijuana passing along with Washington and that, those are things we just have to adjust to. That's what the people wanted. They spoke. That's the way our Constitution is.
Absolutely. Listen, Sheriff, thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program this afternoon. It's a real pleasure getting a chance to talk with you, and I hope you'll come back at some point.
Thank you. You take care and enjoy it. And like I said, we'll see where it goes.